Good morning, everyone. I appreciate everybody being in our fiscal court meeting. This is our June 23rd, 2020 special called fiscal court meeting due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We will be having our fiscal court meetings on video conferencing and the fiscal court meeting live on Madison County, Kentucky Facebook page and local Spectrum TV channel, channel 377, in compliance with the Office of the Attorney General Opinion 20-05. I will remind everybody on the meeting today, if we can, to stay muted as much as we possibly can. And I think, raising our hands and acknowledging or allowing me to acknowledge you makes a more professional and more put together meeting. So appreciate everybody. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs. He's not here, right?
Master Combs could not make
heard something. Okay, I heard something. We'll make sure it wasn't him. Master Barger? Master Tudor?
Here.
Master Biken?
Present.
Judge Taylor?
Here. At this time, I'm going to invite our magistrate from District 2, Roger Barger, to lead us in a word of prayer. Roger, if you don't care, please unmute. Can you unmute him, Chris?
How about now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Let us pray. Father, as we come together to conduct this fiscal court meeting, we ask that you guide us as we make the decisions pertaining to our county and its people. Father, as we ask for your blessings upon the ones that have fallen ill, we pray for their complete recovery. I ask these things in the precious name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Roger. This time, I'm going to invite the sheriff here to lead us in the pledge. If you all will stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Sheriff. The minutes from the previous fiscal court meeting that we had, we will have those at our next fiscal court meeting due to the election and just everything that the clerk's office has been going through trying to get prepared for today. There hadn't been a lot of extra free time. I do appreciate Kenny and his team and all of his work in this election. So we will have our next minutes or our previous fiscal court meeting minutes at our next meeting. Next, we'll have our treasury report. It is our fourth Tuesday, which is when Glenna gives our treasurer's report. You all should have seen a financial statement in Dropbox. Good morning, Glenna.
Good morning. The financial statement was in Dropbox at the very bottom. Our total fund balance is $6,799,008.31, and that's as of May 31st, 2020. Our general fund revenues are at 97.9% as of 5/31/2020. Our expenditures are at 81.8%. Our road fund revenues are at 99.6%, and our expenditures are at 81.8%. Our jail fund revenues are at 70%, and our expenditures are at 82.8%. The LGEA fund, our revenues are at 111.7%, our expenditures are at 0. Our revenues for our CSEP fund are at 12.5%, and our expenditures are at 12.4%. Our 911 fund, our revenues are at 101%, and our expenditures are at 67.8%. Our health fund, our revenues are at 95.5%, and our expenditures are at 66.1%. And just to note, the difference in the where the jail revenues are much lower than their expenditures, the general fund makes up the difference in that. We've had to transfer extra money. So when I say revenues, those are actually monies coming in, not transfers. Does anybody have any questions about the claims or transfers or the financial statement? If not, we need to also, I need someone to put the motion.
Glenna, hold on before you do that. I think Tom might have something, please.
No, I was just saying, I didn't have any, Judge. It looked good.
Okay.
I do request that someone make the motion to approve claims through the end of the year through June 30th, 2020. So if anything comes up that we need to pay out of this budget, that we're able to pay it, and then we will present you all a claims list at the first quarter in July on what was paid.
Yeah, we do that typically every year. So, Tom, I saw your hand go up.
Hey, Judge, I'll go ahead and make that motion that we pay the claims through the end of the year for the current budget.
Thank you. John?
I'll second that motion, Judge.
All right. So I have a motion and a second to pay any claims between now and the July 1st or June 30th. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Burger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
I think Kenny's freezing up. Chris?
Master Biken,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you. Thanks, Glenna.
Thank you.
The first order of business today is our second reading of ordinance 2013-2020-2021 Administrative Code. And we have our HR Director, Rachel Thomas, on with us to present that to us. Hi, Rachel. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. You want me to read the ordinance?
Please.
Okay. An ordinance to adopt the 2020-2021 Administrative Code. Whereas the Madison County Judge Executive and Fiscal Court recognize that a personnel system which recruits and retains a qualified, motivated workforce is indispensable to the effective and efficient operation of the county government. And whereas it is essential to have the policies and procedures in writing, delineating all aspects of employment affected by said policies and procedures. And now therefore be it ordained by the Madison County Judge Executive and the Madison County Fiscal Court of the Commonwealth of Kentucky that the policies and procedures attached hereto shall be the system of personnel administration for the county, and that the policies and procedures may be waived, altered, or suspended only by a change of ordinance. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Rachel. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the second reading of ordinance 20-13? Tom?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2013 for the 2020-2021 Administrative Code.
Thank you, Tom. John, did I see your hand go up?
Yes, I'll second that motion.
Okay. Thank you all. I do want to make known that we did, all our ordinances, second readings have to be advertised in the local newspaper. Well, we have done that. We have not had any public comment back on this, this ordinance. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please, Clerk Barger.
Master Biken,
Yes.
Master Burger, Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. He's delayed. Next is our second reading of ordinance 2014. It's the 2020-2021 drug and alcohol-free workplace policy. Again, Rachel's here to present.
Okay. An ordinance to adopt a 2020-2021 drug and alcohol-free workplace policy. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has established a drug and alcohol-free workplace policy, including but not limited to supervisors, full-time employees, part-time employees, off-site employees, representing or conducting business for the county. And whereas the Madison County Drug and Alcohol-Free Workplace Policy is updated annually, and now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison does hereby approve the 2020-2021 Drug and Alcohol-Free Workplace Policy, and this ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Do I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2014? Roger? So Roger's made a motion. I saw him say so move. And John Tudor.
Second that, Judge.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2014. Is there any discussion? John?
Judge, I just think it's very important to have a drug-free workplace. We can't work safely with alcohol or drugs involved, and I think Rachel's done a great job of drawing this document up, and so I approve it. Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, John. And again, this is a second reading again, so we followed the same protocol as prior. We advertised. We have had no public comment. Any more discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, we have our second reading of ordinance 2015. This is our 2020-2021 Code of Ethics. Rachel?
An ordinance to adopt the 2020-2021 Code of Ethics. This ordinance supersedes all previous Code of Ethics. Whereas the proper operation of democratic government requires that a public official be independent and impartial, that government policy and decisions be made through the established process of government, that a public official not use public office to obtain private benefit, and that the public have confidence in the integrity of its government and public officials. And whereas the public judges its government by the way public officials and employees conduct themselves in the posts to which they are elected or appointed, and public confidence and respect for government can best be promoted if every public official and employee, whether paid or unpaid, and whether elected or appointed, will uniformly treat all citizens with courtesy, impartiality, fairness, and equality under the law, and avoid both actual and potential conflicts between their private self-interest and the public interest. And whereas the officials of this county are committed to the operations of a county government that manifests the highest morale and ethical standards among its officers and employees. Whereas the Madison County Code of Ethics is updated annually, and now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison does hereby approve the 2020-2021 Code of Ethics, and this ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Rachel. Tom?
Judge, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance 2015 for the adoption of the 2020-2021 Code of Ethics.
Thank you, Tom. Roger?
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. As previously, this is a second reading. We have advertised, and we have no public comment for this ordinance. Was there any further discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Mr. Barger,
Yes. Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. I think his stuff's delayed today. It's so funny.
Does Chris have any internet he can bring over here? I don't think I have enough.
Oh, it's funny. All right, thank you. Let's see. Next, we have our second reading of ordinance 2016. It's the Bluegrass Regional Radio Network Interlocal Agreement. I believe we have our very own Chris Israel on the line with us today.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning, Chris.
Ordinance 2016, an ordinance for Madison County Fiscal Court, City of Georgetown, Scott County, the University of Kentucky to adopt an interlocal agreement for the creation of the Bluegrass Regional Radio Network. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, City of Georgetown, Scott County, herein referred to as Georgetown, Scott, and the University of Kentucky desire to build a regional emergency radio communication system to promote regionalism by providing secure, reliable, and cost-effective emergency radio communications. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Georgetown, Scott County, and the University of Kentucky wish to operate the emergency radio communication system as the Bluegrass Regional Radio Network. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Georgetown, Scott County, and the University of Kentucky desire to make this system available to other public and private entities in the Commonwealth of Kentucky to further local government communications interoperability for a fee. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Georgetown, Scott County, and the University of Kentucky shall be the sole stakeholders that oversee the operation of the BRRN. And now, therefore, be it ordained that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve to enter into this agreement and authorizes the Judge Executive to execute same on behalf of the county. This ordinance shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Chris. At this time, do I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2016? John?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the ordinance 2016, the agreement between George and Scott County and the University of Kentucky with the local agreement for the Bluegrass Regional Radio Network.
Thanks, John. Roger?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, just like previously, this is a second reading. We have advertised, and we were not seeing any kind of questions or anything from the public. Is there any additional comments? Do y'all have any questions? All right, seeing none, let's call the roll.
Magistrate Boykin,
Yes.
Magistrate Barger,
Yes.
Magistrate Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes, I do want to thank Chris for all his due diligence. I know he and Dustin and Jennifer and Colleen have worked really hard with these groups, and this is really a good opportunity, and I'm really excited about this opportunity for our community and for our region. So good work.
Thanks, sir.
Next, we have our first reading of ordinance 2017. This is our commercial solar energy facilities in the land use regulations. We have our codes and planning director, Bert Thomas, on with us today. Good morning, Bert. Bert, can you talk a little bit just to see if we can hear you?
Ordinance first and then kind of go over what brought about, or vice versa?
No, you read the ordinance first, but I couldn't hear you just a second ago, but I can hear you now. So I think we're good.
All right. An ordinance of the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, amending ordinance number 00-02, Madison County Planning and Zoning Regulations regarding uses allowed. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Madison County, Kentucky, whereas the Madison County Office of Planning and Development identified a need to make provisions for commercial solar energy facilities in the land use regulations of Madison County. And whereas the Madison County Planning Commission defined said commercial solar energy facilities as being private commercial enterprises or occupancies which are engaged in the process of solar resource evaluation, solar energy development, converting solar energy into electrical energy, collecting, storing, and transmitting the electrical energy converted from solar energy, and any and all other activities related to the proceeding. And whereas the Madison County Planning Commission held a public hearing on Tuesday, June 16th, 2020, to consider said amendment to the regulations. After discussion of same, the commission found that making commercial solar energy facilities a conditional use in specific zones desirable when developed with a proper site development plan. And whereas the commission voted to recommend to the Madison County Fiscal Court that the text of section 402.6 uses allowed and section 402.7 moderate hazard occupancies of the Madison County Planning and Zoning Regulations be changed to make commercial solar energy facilities a conditional use in the following sub-districts and zones: UC3 neighborhood commercial, UC4 general commercial, UC7 urban agriculture, RC3 neighborhood commercial, RC4 general commercial, RC7 urban agriculture, C3 rural community neighborhood commercial, C4 rural community general commercial, C7 rural community agriculture. And further, to make commercial solar energy facilities a permitted use in the following sub-districts and zones: UC5A light industrial, UC5B heavy industrial, UC8 urban development resource extraction, RC5A light industrial, RC5B heavy industrial, RC8 urban development resource extraction, C5A rural community light industrial, C8 rural community resource extraction, and R8 rural resource extraction. Now therefore be it ordained and enacted by the Fiscal Court of Madison County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the findings of the Madison County Planning Commission are hereby adopted, and that the text of section 402.6 uses allowed and section 402.7 moderate hazard occupancies of the Madison County Planning and Zoning Regulations be changed to make commercial solar energy facilities a conditional use in the following sub-districts and zones, and that's the same list. Further, to make commercial solar energy facilities a permitted use in the following sub-districts and zones, and that's the same list. Further, that the text of the Madison County Planning and Zoning Regulations shall be amended to add a definition of commercial solar energy facilities as being private commercial enterprises or occupancies which are engaged in the process of solar resource evaluation, solar energy development, converting solar energy into electrical energy, collecting, storing, and transmitting the electrical energy converted from solar energy, and any and all other activities related to the proceeding. Madison County Office of Planning and Development shall make the appropriate textual changes to the Madison County Planning and Zoning Regulations to affect this change. This ordinance number 20, and I think that's 17, I don't have that number on my sheet, shall become effective on the date of the second reading and adoption, and that the county clerk cause this ordinance to be published in accordance with Kentucky Revised Statutes. So,
Yeah, thank you, Bert. Hold just a second, real quick. Go ahead, Chris. If you. All right, thank you, Bert. Before we start discussion, I want to get a first and a second, please, and then that's what will allow it to open up for discussion. So, do I have a motion and a second for ordinance 2017? Roger. Roger just made a motion. I read his lips. Made a motion to approve ordinance number 2017. John?
I second that motion, Judge.
All right, thank you all. All right, now I think, Roger, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious, is there any zonings that it's not allowed in?
The Planning Commission, I did not think it would be fit to have in single-family residential subdivisions, neighborhoods, that kind of thing. So it would not be permitted in single-family residential.
But a farm joining it, they could be right next door to it.
If those two zones touched each other, yes. If there was an ag zone next to a single-family residential zone, yes, with a conditional use permit, they'd have to go through the board of adjustments to get a conditional use permit.
Okay, that's all I need.
Just to give you all the background, and then I'll take questions. I started getting calls about this maybe a year ago. Different companies calling, inquiring about the feasibility and possibility of this kind of development in the county. The way our regs are currently written prior to this ordinance, the only place that a solar farm such as this would be allowed would be in an industrial zone. We just don't have that much industrial zoning in the county, so it really would, and the feasibility of spot zoning industrial property all over the county for this kind, or in the county for this kind of thing, would be a steep hill to climb as well. So to encourage or assist these companies with the possibility of developing these farms, we thought, but still maintain some level of control over it, we thought the conditional use permit would be a good route to go. So anybody that made application to build one of these types of facilities, they're going to have to apply for board of adjustments. There'll be public hearings, public notices, signs placed on the property, just like any other conditional use permit. And we'll have a hearing about it, and then the board of adjustments would be able to put certain conditions on the applicant as far as how they could develop the property.
And then they would also then have to get actually a site development plan after that through the actual planning commission, correct?
Well, after they got their details of the permit and the okay to do it, then they would actually still have to go through the site development process, just like any other commercial development with the planning commission. That's right.
John?
Bert, I see several residents with these solar panels popping up on the roof. Do they have to go through the site development?
This does not apply to an individual that wants to just have solar power on his or her residence.
Only if they're going to sell the energy from it. Is that correct?
This is somewhere between the individual homeowner or property owner and the PSC. So the PSC wouldn't be governed by our local land use regulations. But a private business commercial business would be. So that's just trying to clean up the area in between those two.
Have you got good response with the utility companies working with the solar energy companies to?
Not really had any conversations with any of the utility companies about it.
I wonder if they're for it or against the promotion of these solar panels. It's going to cut back on their usage somewhat.
I'd be surprised if these companies that are investigating this would be going to the links they're going to if they hadn't already had positive conversations with the utility companies.
Okay. Thanks, Bert.
Most of them, Judge, that I've seen and did some studying on, most of them are for it because it takes a load off of their systems to some degree.
And they don't have to put up the infrastructure, the money up front to build them. They just buy the electricity and somebody else pays for all that.
Well, I know there's, and I don't know how many companies, some of that we don't necessarily know who the companies are or whatever, but I know there have been a lot of conversations with actually landowners in the community in different parts of the county that the landowners have been actually talking to these companies about, utilizing their farm. So
I kind of liken it to a cell phone tower in terms of the company will come in and lease the property from the homeowners or the property owners. They'll have a 25, 50-year lease, whatever it is. So there's a benefit to the county there in terms of tax revenue. The value of that property is going to go up. You're going to have insurance premium tax, that all the insurance on the equipment. So there's a benefit economically to the county too.
And again, this is a first reading. We will be advertising the second reading of this prior to our next fiscal court meeting. So we encourage citizens of Madison County to send in comments, to send in concerns, or whatever they may have. And you would send that to comments@madisoncountyky.us. A copy of this ordinance will be available on our website at www.madisoncountyky.us under the transparency tab. Again, anybody that's watching or that would be interested in sending comments about this ordinance, please send it to comments@madisoncountyky.us.
And I just remind everybody too, Judge, that in addition to the ordinance, you should have got a copy of the recommendation from the Planning Commission, a summary of the public hearing that we did have. We didn't have any negative feedback from that. The Planning Commission was very accepting of the proposal. So y'all can read over that. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call.
Yeah. And it seems like Bert, that it seems like what little bit I've been involved in or know about that, when these companies come in, they're actually taking several different joining properties. It's not just one. So
yeah, and these companies, and this is just our regulation of this process. These companies will have to go through the state as well. Frankfurt has a licensing board that also regulates these things. Part of that regulation process is that they have to meet our regulations, but everybody's got a regulation on it, I guess. But just if anybody had any concerns, there's multiple layers that they have to go through before something like this would be approved.
Yeah. Thank you, Bert. Is there any additional comments? Anything else? All right, we do have a motion and a second on ordinance number 2017. So if there's no further comments, Clerk Barger, call the roll.
Master Barger, Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Biken,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next is Resolution 2071. This is a Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board Spay and Neuter Grant. And I believe we have Tom Webb on the line with us today.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tom. If you will, Tom, if you'll read the resolution, please.
Sure. A resolution for application and administration of Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board spay and neuter grant funds for 2020. Whereas the Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board is accepting applications for the 2020 spay and neuter grant program, and whereas funds for the 2020 Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board spay and neuter grant program are to be awarded on a competitive basis for spaying and neutering companion animals. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky desires to make an application for the 2020 Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board grant program funds to spay and neuter companion animals in Madison County. And whereas the County of Madison, Kentucky wishes to authorize the judge executive to make application for the 2020 Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board spay and neuter companion grant program funds, and if the application is successful, to enter into an agreement with the Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board to administer this award, to execute any documents which are deemed necessary to facilitate and administer this award, to act as the authorized correspondent for this award, and whereas the Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board will award up to $2,500 to applicants on a competitive basis, whereas local funding is considered in the scoring of these grant applications, but a local match is not required. And whereas Madison County Fiscal Court is requesting Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board grant funds in an amount which will be specified in the grant application currently being prepared for submittal, and therefore be it resolved this 23rd day of June 2020 by Madison County, Kentucky, the judge executive is hereby authorized to execute and furnish all required documentation, including memorandum of agreements as may be required for the furtherance of the above referenced project, and to act as the authorized correspondent for said project.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a motion and a second for Resolution 2071, Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board spay and neuter grant? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion. We approve Resolution 2071, spay and neuter grant program.
Thanks. Tom?
Second, the approval for resolution 2071, Judge.
All right. Thank you all. Is there any discussion? John?
Judge, everyone knows that our county is in better condition when we have most of our stray dogs neutered and spayed, and receiving grant fund to help carry out this process is just in the best interest of Madison County. And I'd like to thank Tom for applying for this grant. Tom, what kind of odds do we have on receiving this? Do you have any idea? Or?
I think it's pretty good, but they changed the process this year. To my understanding, they changed it to also consider the local match. So it will partly consider we put up a local match also. I think they're giving priority to communities that provide some kind of local match.
Did we receive anything last year?
That I can't answer. That was before my coming on board.
I don't think so. I think this is the first time that I can remember that we've actually applied for this one.
Thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next, we have Resolution 2072. This is the Bullpen Company Grant Writing Services. And Tom, I'm going to read this one. I think it's more appropriate since this is regarding you that I read this. A resolution approving contractual service agreement for Madison County Fiscal Court Grant Writing and Administration Contractual Consultant. Whereas Madison County wishes to secure grant writing services, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has contracted with the Bullpen Company in the past for grant writing services and is satisfied with the product the Bullpen Company provides, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to renew their contract with the Bullpen Company for grant writing services for 1 year beginning July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 in the amount of $35,000 per year for a minimum of 40 hours of actual work done per month, which is attached here to this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into the contract and authorize the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county to go into effect July 1st, 2020. Do I have a motion and a second? Roger?
Make a motion to approve 2072.
John?
I second that motion, Judge.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Is there any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Tom?
Hey, Judge, I'd just like to quickly say that I think that this is a very good resolution that Tom has proved that his worth to the county there, and we've received way more than our $35,000 contract in returns on that. So we certainly appreciate all of his efforts.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. Anything else? And thank you, Tom Bakken. I forgot there's 2 Toms now on here right now. So, anything else? All right, seeing none. Clerk Barger, call the roll.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Tom Webb. Appreciate that. All right, next we have Resolution 2073. It's our CSEP siren bid. Good morning, Dustin.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, everybody. Madison County, Kentucky Resolution 2073, a resolution ending negotiations with Safer Services for outdoor siren replacement. Whereas the Madison County CSEP program requires multiple systems to be able to alert the public in an emergency. And whereas the Madison County CSEP program has utilized an outdoor siren system before, and whereas the Madison County CSEP program needs an upgrade to a more cost-effective and reliable system capable of alerting the public from multiple emergencies, which will replace the current outdoor warning system. Whereas the Madison County CSEP program team has negotiated with Safer Services, and whereas these negotiations have not proceeded to the satisfaction of the Madison County CSEP team, Madison County CSEP team wishes to end negotiations with Safer Services and move for a rebid. And now therefore it be resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution, and the County Judge Executive is hereby authorized to execute the same on behalf of the Fiscal Court.
Thank you, Dustin. This time I need a motion and a second for Resolution 2073. Tom?
Motion to approve Resolution 2017 to end negotiations with Safer Services for the siren replacement, Judge.
Thank you. And that's, and just for clarification, Tom, that is Resolution 2073, correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you. John?
I'd like to second that motion, Judge.
All right. So we're up for discussion at this point. Tom?
Hey, Judge, I want to thank Dustin and Jennifer for the attached documents that's associated with this, because this contract is a very important contract to the county, and you're talking about a lot of money when you talk about the CSEP program. And due to the importance of it and the technical stuff that's associated with that, you can't have companies that won't respond to your request, that won't deliver on time, that won't follow the negotiations the way that they're set up. And I appreciate those guys stepping up and being willing to go back and say, hey, man, this is not who we want to deal with. So I thank all of y'all for that, Dustin.
You bet.
John?
Dustin, I just wanted to ask if we're canceling with the Safer Services, do you have somebody in mind to carry out these duties or performance?
We do not, John. There are other companies that bid when we originally bid this. And what we're going to ask to do is go to a rebid. We believe that we can also narrow some of the scope of what we're asking for now as we've kind of gained better knowledge of what we're looking for in the system. We can narrow the scope and really identify what we're looking for. And as Tom said, I mean, you know, we provided that documentation to you guys, so you had the same information we did. We just feel that in the best interest of the county, the funding, the taxpayers' money, we think we need to move forward and do a rebid option with this situation.
Well, was the cancellation mainly on the cost, or the services that they were providing, which was a
Yeah, cost was not an issue with the funding from CSEP. Cost was not an issue. It was more of services, communications, just concerns that we as a group had that we needed to do. We felt like a rebid is a best option for us.
Well,
Yeah, if y'all remember several weeks ago, a couple meetings ago, maybe it was back in early May, maybe Dustin, April, we had bid it and we approved Dustin and Jennifer and the CSEP team. Maybe Chris was maybe a little bit involved in actually going and negotiating. We'd already bid it. And we allowed them to go and negotiate with them to bring back to us sort of the final terms. And so here we are. They've gone and done their due diligence, and I think it shows who they are and what kind of department they are to bring back to say, hey, we don't want our tax dollars being spent this way. We want to work with people that are good communicators and are going to provide us a service. And so kudos, I agree with Tom 100%. Kudos to you all for your due diligence in this and making sure that we get the best fit for Madison Countyans that we possibly can.
Yeah, so, you bet. I mean, because it's important to us. We're the team that has to utilize the system, and we want it to function right, as well as we need it to function right for protecting our citizens. So that's why we moved to this. And you're correct, Judge. We have signed no contract. There has been none of that done. We had not gotten to that stage yet.
Yeah. Thank you, Dustin.
You bet. One thing that I saw, Judge, in it that, when you make a bid on a contract, and I saw from, I guess this was Jennifer's document that she placed in our Dropbox there, you can't have $1 million discrepancy in what you're asking for. Which was, you bid for one thing and they come and say, hey, well, that's not what it's going to cost. It's going to be $1 million more. You've got some issues there. So whether that's definition or the scope or, who you're dealing with or what you're dealing with, there's a lot to that. But I was glad to see the supporting documents that go along with that.
You bet.
Good deal. Any other comments? We do have a motion in a second. There's no more comments. Call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yeah, he said yes.
yes.
Master Bakken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you all.
Chris. Next is Resolution 2074. This is 2019 Madison County Sheriff's Local Tax Settlement. I'm going to go ahead and read. Mary Margaret is getting on, but I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution. A resolution to approve the 2019 Madison County Sheriff's Local Tax Settlement. Whereas the Madison County Sheriff's Department collected $55,356,033.40 in taxes for the county in 2019. And whereas the Madison County Sheriff's Department disperses payments to all districts within the county, and whereas the Madison County Sheriff's Local Tax Settlement is prepared annually to allow state auditors to audit the Madison County Sheriff's Department's books, which is attached here to this resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution. And I do want to make sure that, those that are watching, that when we say the Madison County Sheriff's Department collects that amount of money for the county, that is all the different taxing districts. They collect for the school, they collect for the library, the health department, the ambulance, the extension office, the county, and actually the state as well. So I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that all that $55 million does not come to the Madison County Fiscal Court. So I need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2074, and then we'll open it up for discussion. Tom?
So a motion to approve resolution 2074, Judge, for the sheriff's 2019 tax settlement.
Thank you, Tom. Roger? So we have a motion and a second. So now we can open it up for discussions, and we do have Mary Margaret on the line. If anybody has any questions for her, or Mary Margaret, if you have any comments that you would like to make.
No. Well, we did have 36,277 tax bills this year. It's a little different because we had to start collecting taxes later. Probably one of the more hectic years I've ever been in taxes, but we did really good. If you look at the first sheet, we had an error. We took money on a refund and we took it out of the county school system, and it should have came out of the Berea school system. That is already corrected. And also watershed, we generated our monthly tax report that was due us. So I have contacted Red Lake Watershed, and they are cutting us a check for $1,070.86. And if you look at the back, the bottom line, we are off after all the settlement is complete.
Thank you, Mary Margaret. John, did you have a question?
I pulled up the spreadsheet on the iPad here. I've got my information. Thank you, Mary Margaret.
You're welcome.
Is there any additional comments? Any questions?
I'd just like to make a comment, Judge, and we're talking about a 0.01 difference on that. So, that's a lot of money to handle, and that is awesome. So thank you, Mary Margaret.
Got a good bunch working.
All right, thank you, Mary Margaret. Appreciate it. If no further discussion, call the roll, please.
Master Berger, Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. And our sheriff is sitting here keeping me safe right now. So kudos to him as well for running a great operation and having a good staff and putting that together. So thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Let's see. Next, we have Resolution 2075. This is an Ethics Board appointment. A resolution for the appointment of the Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County Ethics Board, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of the Madison County Ethics Board members, and whereas a vacancy for the Ethics Board is open, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Jeff Renner as a fit for the position as a board member of the Ethics Board. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Jeff Renner as a Madison County Ethics Board member. This is, I will say that this is a reappointment that Jeff Renner serves for Tom Bockett in District 4 as a District 4 representative of Tom. So it is a reappointment. So I need a motion and second to approve Resolution 2075. Tom?
Judge, I'd like to make the motion to approve Resolution 2075 to reappoint Jeff Renner to the Ethics Board.
Roger? Roger. So I have a motion by Tom Bockett. I have a second by Roger Barger. Is there any discussion? Tom?
Okay, Judge, I'd just like to say that, Jeff is, he's a longtime resident down in Kirksville, outstanding individual, and I'm pretty thankful to have him on the Ethics Board representing us. We appreciate his service.
Thank you, Tom. Anything else? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Berger, Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Next, Resolution 2076. This is a 2020-2021 employee classification change. And I think we have Rachel on here to read us the resolution. Good morning again, Rachel.
Hello. Okay, a resolution to award each full-time employee 2 personal days to be used in the fiscal year 2020-2021 as a one-time benefit. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has decided, due to the COVID-19 pandemic and unknown impact it will have on the fiscal court financially, to award each full-time employee 2 personal days to be used during the 2020-2021 fiscal year. And whereas the 2 personal days may not be cashed out but used in the same manner as personal hours as outlined in the administrative code. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court will reevaluate the financial situation of the county at a later date due to reassess if the budget would allow for years of service and employee classification raises. Sorry, I cannot talk. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has established an employee classification system and years of service for the benefit of all employees of the fiscal court, and whereas the employee classification system is updated annually. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve the 2020-2021 classification schedule.
Thank you, Rachel. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2076? John?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2076.
Do I have a second? Tom?
Yeah, second the motion to approve Resolution 2076, Judge.
All right. Thank you all. Do we have any additional comments? All right, seeing none, call the roll.
Buckin,
Yes.
Master Barger, Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, we have personnel at the golf course. We have our golf course director, Gary Vanderhoff. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Judge. I'd like to get the court's approval this morning to hire 2 seasonal grounds crew employees. This will bring us up to 5 seasonal grounds crew employees, unfortunately, until Friday, when we're going to lose one of our current seasonal ground crew employees who is going to be moving to northern Kentucky. So the first one is Nathan Himes, starting at $9.50 an hour, June 24th, 2020.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve Nathan Himes as a seasonal grounds crew employee, starting at $9.50 an hour, and the start date correct for tomorrow, Gary?
Yes.
Tomorrow. All right, Roger Barger.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? John?
Second that, the motion to approve Nathan Hines as ground crew.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, Gary, you got one more?
Yes, I do. I'd like the approval to hire Jaden Carpenter for seasonal ground crew at $9.50 an hour, also starting tomorrow, 6/24/2020.
All right, if y'all approve the recommendation of Gary, I need a motion and a second. John?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Jaden Carpenter as a seasonal grounds crew at the rate of $9.50 or $9.50 per hour starting tomorrow.
Thank you, Tom.
Second to John's motion, Judge.
Thank you all. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
I think Kenny's froze up.
Master Barger,
Yes.
yeah.
Kenny, if you can hear me, I think John Tudor said yes, Roger said yes, and Tom Bakken.
That would be yes, Judge.
Tom Bakken said yes, and Judge Taylor says yes. I assume you heard it.
Yep. We're all
Okay,
good.
good. Thank you. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Next, we have personnel in the road department. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, Judge. I'd like to recommend to the court to hire Stephen Brock. Start date as tomorrow, 6/24, for $14 an hour. Mr. Brock previously worked for the Madison County Fire Department for 20 years and retired. And Mr. Brock has received approval from the Kentucky Department retirement system that he would be allowed to go work for the road department if.
Thank you, Scott. Do I have a motion and a second on his recommendation? Roger?
So moved.
John Tudor?
I second the recommendation to hire Stephen Brock for the road department.
All right. Any further discussion? John?
Judge, of course, Steve retired from the fire department just about a year ago, and he's worked part-time for the county and always a good employee and a hard worker. And I think Steve will do us a good job down at the road department. I appreciate him coming back.
Yeah. Scott, we're still down employees in the road department, correct? Aren't we down like 5?
Yes, sir. We're still down, and we actually just lost another. So we do have job postings on the internet. If anyone's interested, please apply, and we will be trying to hire for those positions.
Right. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion? All right. Seeing none, call the roll. Yeah, Kenny, you're muted. I don't know if you can hear me. I'll call the roll in. Is that okay, Counselor?
How about I call the roll?
There you go. You call the roll.
Magistrate Tudor,
Yes.
Magistrate Barger,
Yes.
Magistrate Bodkin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Kenny,
Thank
I
you.
carried your water for today.
Thank you, Counselor. Yeah. All right, next is our judges report. Just to have a few quick announcements. Obviously, we're getting ready to have our Independence Day celebration, and due to the pandemic, that some of this is changing a little bit. But appreciate Richmond City and Berea City both still being able to have the fireworks show. Richmond's Independence Day fireworks celebration will be Saturday, July 4th at Lake Reba. Fireworks will go off at 10 p.m. Special music and programming will be broadcast on 100.7 FM, The Coyote, during the event. It is suggested that you arrive around 8 to 8:30 to get a good spot and to bring a lawn chair. It is also asked to observe social distancing as much as possible. Please see Richmond Parks and Recreation's website for more detailed information. Excuse me. Berea's 4th of July celebration will also be on Saturday, July the 4th at the Berea City Park. Fireworks will also go off at 10 p.m. Please see Berea Park's website for more details. Please don't forget about the census. It is very, very important for our community over the next 10 years, over the next decade. And all those electeds, all of our employees that are on here, please continue to remind folks to share any kind of information on social media that you can about the census and the importance of filling it out. You can go online and fill it out. You can do it by paper and mail it in. It is very, very important for our community to get that filled out. The Madison County Library is getting back to their normal schedule. Please see their website for the many activities they provide for both adults and children. And then Madison County Courthouse and its related offices will be closed Friday, July the 3rd for the Independence Day holiday. Offices will reopen on Monday, July the 6th at 8 a.m. Again, the Madison County Courthouse and its related offices will be closed on Friday, July the 3rd. And that's all the report that I have today. We'll move on to magistrate's comments. Tom Bakken.
Hey, just a couple of real short ones. I guess it looks like that business is sort of opening back up there. I've been getting a few calls this past couple of weeks, and I appreciate everybody's questions and concerns that they've had. We're still working on a couple of issues with some folks, but appreciate that. Also, I think that the Hagen Mill slide has been repaired now, and that's back open for business. And then I didn't get a chance to talk with Scott and Willie this morning, but I think we're still working on the others, the Arbuckle and the other couple that we had over in the 4th District. But should anybody need me, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Thanks, Tom. See who's next. John.
Judge, I'd just like to remind everybody to get out and vote today. If you haven't already voted, since your absentee ballot in, there's 3 locations to vote on site: Silver Creek Elementary, Boonesboro Elementary, and Clark Moore's Middle School. And there may be lines, so be patient. If you're in line before 6, I'm sure they'll let you vote tonight. So please get out and vote. Should be a good turnout. I'd just like to thank Mr. Willis, our road superintendent, our supervisor, for helping follow through with the extended blacktop on Stony Run. We got that done about 2 weeks ago from Red House Road, Boonesboro Road, up to the bridge there on Stony Run. We're getting in bad shape, and we got that repaved and looks nice down there. Thank you, Mr. Willis, to that. I've got a couple calls this week on Griggs Road. We're having trouble with the slide out there on Griggs. It's a yearly thing, and we're going to have to find some way to fix a permanent solution out there. I think Mr. Willis is talking with Hinkle Construction and some other construction groups with some possible fixes on that road. Hopefully, if it hadn't already, there'll be a temporary fix this week to try to keep those cars from dragging as they travel that road out there. And one more thing, I want to thank the Madison County Road Department for working with the City of Richmond on trimming the brush up 4 Mile Avenue and 4 Mile Road. It was getting to be a safety hazard there, and they did a wonderful job working with the City of Richmond, and thanks to the Madison County Road Department. That's all I got, Judge.
Thanks, John. John, actually, the sheriff and I rode out to Griggs Road there the other day and looked at that. You'd called me and told me that it slid, so we actually took a ride out there. And the road department actually had already been there that morning, I guess. The blacktop was still pretty warm, where they had actually built that back up. And so, Willie, I know Willie's listening. You don't have to respond, Willie, but I would like to talk to you about that, Willie. I just haven't had a chance to call you just to see what options we might have out there. I looked at it. It seems to be an awful wet area right there, which seems to me maybe be why that we're having a slide. So, but anyway, John, just to sort of follow up on your question about Griggs there. So, thanks, Willie. Next, we have Roger.
Tom had mentioned in an earlier meeting that Crutcher Pike was going to get some blacktop, and they've got it down. Didn't go very far, but went as far as we could go with what little pot of money we had there. We'll try to get some later on to finish it up, and there's still a few rough spots, but we just run out of blacktop money to do it with. So we apologize for that. I want to thank Dustin. Had a couple of sirens in my district that didn't seem to be working. I mean, you could hear them partially, but they wasn't making any announcements, and he got those fixed. I heard ours at my subdivision the other day and called him and let him know that it was working again. I appreciate his service for doing that. I want to thank all the employees for their service during these trying times. I know it's everything's a little different. It's different for everybody, but I think we've got a good crew, and they've done a fine job during these times. That's all I got, Judge. Thank you, Roger. I agree 100%. Kenny, do you want to say anything today? Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I'm on the. You can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Okay. The picture might not be worth a dime, but I've got audio on through the phone. So.
Well, even if it was good, that picture still wouldn't be worth a dime.
Looks good from here.
It still wouldn't be worth a dime, even if it was If it was coming in clear.
That's me froze. Yeah, John went over 3 polling locations. We've had a 27% turnout in the request for the absentee ballots. And so far today, we voted 1,541 voters at the polls. It updates every 3 minutes here on my screen. The difference between this model and the way we used to do it is currently right now in the county, we can vote over 400 people at the same time. Never ever have we been able to do that because we're voting in this precinct, this polling location model. Our check-in times are around 30 seconds to 50 seconds on getting people checked in. And then there's most places, there's 100 places for you to sit down and vote. So the only reason somebody's taking a long time to vote is they're staring at their ballot a while. There's plenty, we're getting them in and out as quickly as possible. And we haven't had a single line yet. And I want to say something else about the absentee ballots. If you got your ballot and it is postmarked by today, we can accept that ballot up until the 26th. So it just has to be postmarked today. It doesn't have to be here. It just has to be postmarked. And you can still drop your ballots off until 4 o'clock at both the drop-off places in Berea on Chestnut Street at our office or here in the front door at the courthouse. And Roger's got his hand up.
Yeah, Roger's got a question.
I don't have a question. I got a comment.
Okay.
I was at Clark Moore's this morning around 7 o'clock, and I've never voted any quicker than I did this morning. I mean, the line is continuously just moving through. And like Kenny said, the longest time you'll spend is sitting down to mark your ballot. Other than that, you're on the move. And there was plenty of people there, but it went really smooth, and I couldn't believe how good it was.
Tell your legislators.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can vote anywhere you want. Yeah. What do you call that? Is that what do you call that, Kenny? You call it something when
polling location model. It's just you just vote. It's just a poll. There are polls everywhere.
Yeah.
You do away with the precincts and shoving people from one little spot to the other.
All about voting. Yeah. Yeah, the sheriff was saying he got a couple questions this morning. You can actually vote. It doesn't matter.
No, it does not matter. You can vote any of those places.
If you live at Boone's Trace and want to drive to Silver Creek Elementary School, you can go vote there.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Or Berea, you could drive to Boonesboro Elementary. So
right.
It's more about what's convenient for you, maybe where you work. Yeah.
And imagine, so we only had 3 locations because that's all that we could staff. Imagine if we had 6 of these locations.
Yeah.
You would never have a line voting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Our counselor, Jenny Heyman. Do you have anything? Are you good? All right. Sheriff, do you have anything? Sheriff's good. All right. Thank you, Kenny. Thanks to everyone. Next, we'll have department heads. Do we have any department heads today that need to address the court? Seeing none, and we don't have any audience comments. Next, we have pay the claims and approve the transfers. I need a motion and a second, please. Roger?
So moved.
John Tudor?
I second that, Judge.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the claims and transfers. No discussion, call the roll.
Master Berger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Our next meeting will be July 14th, 2020. And it'll be another Zoom call, so it'll be a special call fiscal court meeting, but it'll be on a regular scheduled second Tuesday. Just remember, we will have this, the way this falls, this will be a 3-week court, basically in between courts. So just a reminder, but our next fiscal court meeting will be July 14th, 2020. And it'll be at 9:30 right back here on Zoom. I need a motion and a second to adjourn. John Tudor?
Judge, I move to adjourn.
Tom Bakken?
Second that, Judge.
Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bodkin,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thanks to everyone. God bless. Appreciate every one of you.
Thank you.
Bye.